Have you ever sat there, the cursor blinking on a blank screen, wanting to share something, maybe good news, a piece of your work, or just a thought that felt truly you? You type it out, you read it, and then you delete it. You close the app. You tell yourself it's not important, it's not perfect enough. Or maybe you just feel a sudden, cold wave of, what is that? Dread. The fear that if you put yourself out there, you'll be met with criticism or judgment or worse. That cold, dismissive silence. This paralysis, this inability to post, to take up space, isn't just shyness or humility. For those of us who grew up in the shadow of narcissistic parenting, this fear of being visible is a scar. It's the lingering echo of a childhood where being seen was dangerous, and expressing yourself was a risk that rarely paid off. We learned that our existence was conditional, and that lesson is so hard to unlearn. We're here today to talk about that specific wound, the one that makes you hit delete on your own story. It all starts in that environment of emotional unpredictability, the chaos that felt like home. When you grow up with a narcissistic parent, the emotional weather is always changing, always stormy, and you never know what's going to set it off. You didn't get to be a kid who just was. You were a kid who was constantly assessing, reading the room, checking the tension in the air. Was mom in a good mood? Was dad on edge? Any post from you, whether it was a burst of excitement, a request for help, or a moment of sadness, could be the thing that triggered the rage or the cold shoulder. There was no consistency. The love and approval you craved was given, and then just as quickly snatched away, leaving you scrambling to figure out what you did wrong. This absence of a stable emotional foundation forces you to internalize a devastating belief: it must be my fault. When the parent's mood is the center of the universe, you, the child, learn that you are responsible for that mood. You become the tiny emotional caretaker, trying to manage the unmanageable feelings of the adult. If they are angry, it's because you were too loud. If they are sad, it's because you weren't good enough. You learn to silence your own needs, to shrink yourself, because your needs are an inconvenience, a burden on the fragile ego of the parent you are trying so desperately to please. You learn that your job isn't to be happy, but to make them happy, or at least, to not make them unhappy. This is the birthplace of invisibility. You don't unpost your drawing on the fridge because last time it was ignored or criticized. You don't unpost your excitement about a good grade because it might be met with jealousy or suspicion. You think you're better than me? You learn that safety lies in silence. Safety lies in making yourself as small and as quiet as possible, anticipating their needs so you can avoid their wrath. The message you receive, over and over, is that your authentic self is a problem. Your feelings are too much. Your needs are selfish. Your joy is annoying. And so, to survive, you begin to erase yourself. You stop sharing. You stop asking. You stop existing in any way that isn't a direct service to the parent's emotional state. This isn't a conscious choice. It's a profound, instinctual adaptation. You learn that to be loved, or at least to be safe, you must not be. And that lesson, learned in your bones, follows you right into adulthood, right to that blinking cursor. This dynamic has a name, though we never knew it at the time. It's called parentification. It's the inversion of the natural order. You, the child, become the parent, and the parent acts like the child, demanding to be seen, soothed, and prioritized. Your entire focus shifts from your own development, from learning who you are, to managing the emotional state of your caregiver. You become their mirror, their servant, their trophy, or their scapegoat, but never, ever just you. Your purpose becomes external. It's about them. You become a master at reading the environment. This is where hypervigilance is born. You can tell by the sound of the key in the door, the way their footsteps fall on the floor, exactly what kind of night it's going to be. You are a little detective, constantly scanning for threats, for shifts in mood. You learn to anticipate their needs before they even know they have them. You become the stabilizer. You are the one who diffuses the tension, who smooths things over, who absorbs the anger. You are the responsible one. This role inversion means you are never allowed to post or rant about your own struggles. How can you, the parent's needs are so much bigger, so much louder. If you express a need, you are accused of being selfish or dramatic. You are taught that your problems don't matter, that you should be grateful for what you have. So you learn to swallow your pain. You learn to perform stability, even when you are crumbling inside. You become the rock, the calm one, the one who has it all together, because someone has to. The consequence is that you never develop a strong sense of your own identity. Yourself is a reflection of their needs. When you are praised, it is for something you did for them. When you are punished, it is for a failure to meet their expectations. Your authentic self, the part of you that has opinions and desires and a unique personality, is seen as a threat to the parent's control. So you hide that self away, deep inside, where it can't be attacked. This role becomes your entire identity. You are the helper, the peacemaker, the good child. This is the only way you know how to receive any kind of validation, however conditional. You learn that your worth is tied directly to your utility. This is why, as an adult, the idea of posting something that is just for you, a selfie, a piece of art, a joyful moment, feels so terrifyingly self-indulgent and dangerous. It's a direct violation of the primary rule you learned. It's not about you. We can put psychological names to these things now. We can call it parentification, role reversal, hypervigilance. But in childhood, it didn't have a name. It just felt like survival. That constant scanning of the room, that's not just being intuitive. It's a trauma response. It's your nervous system permanently stuck in the on position, always searching for the next threat. You are still scanning the room, even when the room is safe. You are scanning your social media feed, your work emails, your partner's face, looking for the inevitable disapproval. This isn't a personality flaw. It's a survival mechanism that has outlived its usefulness but doesn't know how to turn off. Your brain and body learned, at a cellular level, that visibility equals danger. To be seen is to be targeted. To express a need is to risk annihilation or abandonment. So when you sit at that computer and feel a visceral, physical resistance to hitting post, that is your body trying to keep you safe, using a map that is decades out of date. The fear of criticism is so profound. It's not just a fear of someone disagreeing with you, it's a fear of obliteration. Because in childhood, criticism from the narcissistic parent wasn't constructive. It wasn't, you made a mistake. It was, you are a mistake. It was an attack on your very being, your character, your worth. That's the voice you hear when you hesitate. You're not worried about what strangers will think. You're terrified of that voice, which you've now internalized. This survival response also manifests as crippling perfectionism. You don't post because it's not perfect. The photo isn't perfect. The caption isn't perfect. The timing isn't perfect. Why? Because as a child, perfect was the only thing that sometimes kept you safe. If you got the A+, if you cleaned the kitchen flawlessly, if you never talked back, you might earn a moment of peace. Anything less than perfect was a target. So you hoard your work, your thoughts, your art, waiting for a perfect where that will never come, because it's perfect was just a cage built by fear. This is the agonizing catch-22 of the survivor. You desperately crave the validation and connection you never received. You want to be seen, to be heard, to be told, I see you, and you are good. But the very act of seeking that connection, the act of posting, triggers the deepest survival instinct you have, the one that screams, hide. It's not safe. They will hurt you. And so you remain silent, trapped between the longing to be known and the terror of being seen. This leads directly to the formation of a false self, a mask. If the real you is unacceptable, you must invent a you, that is, you become a performer. You become the person you believe others want you to be. You are the cool friend, the successful employee, the easygoing partner. You are a chameleon, adapting your personality to fit whatever room you are in, just as you adapted to your parents' moods. You become so good at this performance that you don't even know where the mask ends and you begin. When your identity is built around performance and pleasing others, the idea of posting your authentic self is horrifying. Which self would you even post? The one you show at work, the one you show your family, the one you show your friends. None of them feel entirely real. And the real you, the one hiding underneath, you've been taught that that person is unlovable, flawed, and must never be seen by anyone. This is the essence of self-disappearance. You have systematically erased your own preferences, your own opinions, your own needs, to make room for everyone else's. Someone asks, "What do you want for dinner?" And you genuinely don't know. Or you do know, but you say, "Whatever you want," because having a preference feels like an act of aggression. It feels demanding. You have trained yourself to not want, to not need, to not be. This performer identity is utterly exhausting. You are holding up a heavy mask all day, every day. You are constantly monitoring, calculating, and adjusting your performance. The you that you present to the world is a carefully curated project, designed for maximum approval and minimum conflict. The million likes, the promotions, the compliments. They aren't validation for you. They are applause for the performance. And inside, you still feel empty, because the real you is still in hiding, starving for connection. This is why you don't post. Posting requires a degree of, "I am here and I am worth listening to." You don't feel that. You feel, "I am here if you like my performance." Posting something authentic, something vulnerable, something imperfect. That feels like walking onto a stage, naked, under a spotlight, and handing the audience stones to throw. Your survival depends on keeping that mask firmly in place, and that mask forbids authentic visibility. Deep inside, underneath all those layers of performance and protection, is the silent wound of the inner child. That little kid who was told their feelings were wrong, their excitement was annoying, their needs were selfish. That child is still there, frozen in time, still believing those lies. They are the one who is terrified. They are the one who remembers, with perfect clarity, the look of disgust or the sound of an angry voice when they dared to be themselves. When you, as an adult, go to post, it is that child's fear that slams on the brakes. The adult you might know, logically, that a critical comment on the internet won't kill you, but the child inside doesn't know that. To that child, criticism is annihilation. Rejection is abandonment. That child's unprocessed pain is running the show, making decisions from a place of old, deep terror. The unmet needs of that child are immense. The need to be seen, to be celebrated for just existing, to be held, to be soothed, to be told, "You are enough, exactly as you are." These are the foundational needs of a human being, and they were never met. Instead, you were taught that you had to earn your right to exist, to be useful, or perfect, or quiet. You were never allowed to just be. So now, as an adult, you are walking around with this immense void, this deep hunger for validation. But you are also carrying the terror of what happened when you asked for it. This is why you might crave success or public acknowledgement. But when you get it, it feels hollow. It's because the adult performer is receiving the applause. But the wounded child inside is still the one who needs the hug. This is the wound that makes you delete the post. You are protecting that child. You are, in a protective way, re-abandoning that child by silencing them, just as your parent did. You are telling them, "No, you're right, it's not safe, let's hide." The fear of reopening that wound, of feeling that old, cold sting of rejection, is so great that you choose invisibility, again and again. It feels safer to be unseen and lonely than to be seen and attacked. In adulthood, this pattern manifests everywhere. It's not just about social media. It's about your voice in the world. You sit in a meeting at work with a brilliant idea, and you say nothing. You let someone else talk over you. You think, they'll just think it's stupid. That's the parent's voice. You don't ask for the raise you deserve because you feel, deep down, that you should just be grateful to have a job at all. You are still that child, afraid to ask for what you are worth. In your relationships, this wound is devastating. You become the ultimate people pleaser. You are so terrified of conflict or abandonment that you have no boundaries. You say, yes, when you mean no. You apologize for things that aren't your fault. You silence your own needs to keep the peace, becoming the emotional caretaker for your partner, your friends, your colleagues. You are repeating the pattern. You are making yourself invisible to make someone else comfortable. This deeply affects your ability to trust. How can you trust anyone, including yourself? Your parent, the person who was supposed to love and protect you unconditionally, was the source of your deepest pain. You learned that love is conditional, that intimacy is a trap, that vulnerability is a weapon used against you. So you keep people at a distance. You don't let them really see you, because if they see the real, flawed you, they will surely leave. When it comes to rest and self-worth, you feel you don't deserve it. You feel you must always be productive, always be doing something, always be useful. Why? Because your worth was always tied to your performance. The idea of resting, of doing nothing, just for you, it brings up immense guilt and anxiety. You feel lazy, worthless. This is the internalized narrative of the narcissistic parent. You are only valuable for what you do for me. And emotional regulation? You were never taught how. You were taught to suppress. Your emotions were either ignored or punished. So as an adult, when you feel a big feeling, sadness, anger, even intense joy, it's terrifying. You either numb it, distract yourself, or you feel completely overwhelmed by it, because you were never given the tools to simply feel and know that you are still safe. It's important to understand that this isn't your fault. There is a deep, biological, emotional reasoning behind all of this. As a child, your survival depends on attachment to your caregiver. It's a non-negotiable, primal instinct. You must attach. So when that caregiver is a narcissist, you are put in an impossible position. The person you must attach to for survival is also the source of your greatest threat. You are forced to make an impossible choice. Attachment or authenticity. Do you remain your true self, expressing your needs and feelings, and risk abandonment, which to a child's brain feels like death? Or do you sacrifice your authenticity, suppress your true self, and perform whatever role is required of you in order to maintain that life-giving attachment? Every child will make the same choice. You chose survival. You chose attachment. You sacrificed your authentic self to stay safe. You put your real self in a box, locked it, and buried it deep inside, and you built a performer self to interface with the world. This was not a conscious decision. It was the most brilliant adaptation your young brain could come up with to survive an unsurvivable situation. You had to do it. You had to kill off parts of yourself to be lovable to the person you needed. This is why the fear of posting is so primal. Posting is an act of authenticity. It is you standing up and saying, "This is me. This is what I think. This is what I feel." This act is a direct threat to that old, buried survival pact. It feels like you are risking everything, because in childhood, you were. Your brain is still running that old software. Authenticity, yucks abandonment, death. Understanding this biological imperative is crucial for self-compassion. You are not weak for not posting. You are not broken for being a people pleaser. You are a survivor of a profound relational trauma. Your entire system was wired to prioritize safety over self-expression, and it's still doing its job perfectly, even though the context has changed. The work of healing is about gently, patiently teaching your nervous system that the rules are different now. The long-term consequences of this are profound. They become the internal narratives that run your life. You live with a constant, nagging sense of not being good enough, no matter how much you achieve. This is the internalized voice of the parent who always moved the goalposts, who always found a flaw. You could get a 99 on a test, and they would ask what happened to the other point. That voice is now your internal monologue. You develop coping styles that are rooted in avoidance. You avoid conflict. You avoid intimacy. You avoid visibility. You avoid living fully, because living fully means being seen, and being seen is dangerous. You live in a self-imposed prison of invisibility, and it is so lonely. You watch other people post their lives, their messy thoughts, their simple joys, and you wonder, why can't I do that? What is wrong with me? These internal narratives shape all of your relationships. You might attract partners who are, unsurprisingly, emotionally unavailable or narcissistic, because that dynamic feels familiar. It feels like home. Or you might find a kind, loving partner and you find yourself constantly trying to earn their love. Or you are suspicious of their kindness, waiting for the other shoe to drop. You don't know how to just receive unconditional love. This leads to a deep, pervasive sense of shame. Not guilt, which is, I did something bad, but shame, which is, I am something bad. This is the core wound of narcissistic abuse. You were taught that your authentic self was fundamentally flawed. This shame is why you don't post. You are afraid that if people see the real you, they will see what your parents saw, something defective, something unlovable. The weight of this is exhausting. It's a lifetime of holding your breath, of walking on eggshells, of performing. It's a life half-lived, in the shadows, always afraid of the spotlight. You are carrying the heavy burden of your parents' projections, and you've been carrying it for so long, you believe it's yours. The first step, the absolute most important step on this journey, is awareness. It's witnessing. It's this moment, right now. It's the moment you have your finger hovering over the delete button, and instead of just deleting, you pause. You notice. You notice the fear. You notice the tightness in your chest. You notice the voice in your head saying, "Don't post that. You're so arrogant. Nobody cares." And in that pause, you do something revolutionary. You witness that voice, and you don't automatically believe it. You simply observe it. Ah, you say to yourself, there it is. That's the voice. That's the old programming. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to yell at it. You just have to see it for what it is. It's an echo. It's a scar. It is not the truth. This is how you begin to break the cycle of self-gaslighting. For your entire childhood, your reality was denied. You were told, "I never said that. You're too sensitive. That didn't happen." You learn to distrust your own perception, your own feelings. The self-gaslighting continues when you tell yourself, "I'm just being dramatic. I'm just lazy. I just need to get over it." Witnessing is the antidote. You start to validate your own experience. You tell yourself, "It makes perfect sense that I'm afraid to post. I was taught to be afraid. I was taught that being visible was dangerous. My fear is a reasonable response to an unreasonable childhood." This is an act of profound self-compassion. You are finally, for the first time, taking your own side. This awareness is not about fixing yourself. You are not broken. It's about understanding yourself. It's about pulling the curtain back and seeing the mechanisms that were built in childhood. When you see the mechanism, it starts to lose its power over you. The fear doesn't magically disappear, but your relationship to the fear changes. You are no longer in the fear. You are the observer of the fear, and that changes everything. It's such a strange paradox, this high-functioning adult wound. On the outside, you are the one who has it all together. You're likely successful, responsible, the one everyone counts on. You're the CEO, the team lead, the perfect parent, the friend who always shows up. You have built an entire, beautiful, successful life. But it's a life built on that old foundation of survival. It's a high-functioning shield. Inside, you are still carrying those patterns. You are still that hyper-vigilant child, scanning the room. You are still taking on chronic responsibility, feeling like if you don't do it, everything will fall apart. This is the parentification, all grown up. You are still the emotional caretaker for everyone around you, often at the complete expense of your own well-being. You are exhausted, but you can't stop. This is why you don't post your struggles. You can't. Your entire identity is built on being the strong one. How can you admit that you're struggling? How can you admit that you're tired? It feels like a catastrophic failure. It feels like if you let one crack show, the entire facade will crumble, and the real, flawed, you will be exposed. And that, you've been taught, is the end of the world. You suppress your own emotions to maintain this image of capability. You push down the sadness, the burnout, the anger. You tell yourself you don't have time to be sad. You have things to do. This is the ultimate act of self-abandonment. You are treating yourself with the same conditional approval that your parent treated you with. I will love myself if I am successful. I will value myself if I am productive. This is the wound that makes you perform life instead of living it. You might post your achievements, your successes, the highlights, but that's just another form of performance. You are not posting you. You are not posting the messy parts, the sad parts, the uncertain parts, You are still hiding, but now you're hiding behind a wall of your own accomplishments. And it's just as lonely as hiding in silence. If this conversation is resonating with you, if you feel that ache of recognition in your chest, I just want to pause for a moment and validate you. You are not alone in this feeling. This is a shared wound. I have a question for you. How many times have you typed out a message, a comment, or a post, only to delete it out of fear? If you feel comfortable, I'd love for you to share in the comments. You can just write, "I delete my truth." It's a small way to post, to be seen, in a space where you will be understood. Your story matters, and when you share it, you help someone else feel less alone. And if this content is helping you, please consider liking this video. It truly helps our community grow. This legacy of narcissistic parenting shows up in the smallest, most unconscious ways. It's in the way you hold your breath when you walk into a room. It's that physical tensing, the checking of the atmosphere, that old habit of bracing for impact. You are 50 years old and you are still, unconsciously, checking to see if it's unsafe to be yourself. You are still holding your breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's in the constant, nagging feeling of permission seeking. Before you make a decision, even a small one, do you find yourself mentally checking in with someone? You're not actually asking them, but you're running the scenario in your head, imagining their reaction. You are still, in your mind, asking your parent for permission to exist, to take up space, to make a choice that is just for you. This is why you don't post. It feels like you need permission. You feel like you need the world's approval before you can share your thought. You're looking for a guarantee that it will be well received, that you won't be attacked. And since that guarantee never comes, you stay silent. You are still waiting for the permission that your parent never, ever gave you. The permission to simply be. You might also recognize the pattern of over-explaining. When you do set a boundary or state a need, you follow it up with a long, detailed justification. You feel you have to prove that your need is valid, that you're not being selfish. This comes directly from having to defend your most basic needs to a parent who saw them as an attack. You are still on trial, acting as your own defense attorney, for the simple crime of having a need. These are the ghosts of the past, and they are powerful, but they are just ghosts. Recognizing them is the first step to exorcising them. When you notice yourself holding your breath, you can consciously exhale. When you catch yourself seeking permission, you can consciously give it to yourself. I am an adult. I am safe. I give myself permission to do this. This is how you reclaim your power, breath by breath, choice by choice. So how do we heal this? We begin the reparenting process. This is the work. It is the conscious, deliberate act of giving to yourself, now, everything you did not receive then. You become the parent to your inner child. You become the stable, loving, unconditionally accepting presence that you always needed and deserved. When that inner child screams in terror, don't post that, they'll laugh at you. The adult you, the reparenting you, doesn't silence it. You don't say get over it. You turn toward that child. You get on one knee, metaphorically, and you say, I hear you. I know you're scared. It makes total sense that you're scared, based on what we went through. You validate the fear first. Then, you provide the safety that was missing. You say, but I want you to know something. I am here now. I am the adult. I can handle the criticism. I will not let it destroy us. I will keep you safe. Your voice deserves to be heard, and I will protect you after you speak. This is how you build internal safety. You are teaching that child, and your own nervous system, that the rules have changed. Reparenting is also about giving yourself the things you were denied. Were you denied joy? You schedule time to play, to do something for no reason other than it feels good. Were you denied rest? You give yourself permission to lie on the couch and do nothing, and you actively fight the guilt that comes up. Were you denied a voice? You start small. You post in a private journal. You post a real thought to one safe friend. This is a slow, tender process. It is not about suddenly becoming a loud, visible person. It's about slowly, safely, reclaiming the parts of yourself you had to abandon. It's about earning the trust of your own inner child, showing them, through consistent action, that you will not abandon them. You will not silence them. You will keep them safe. This journey inevitably involves shadow work. Shadow work is the courageous act of turning toward the pain instead of running from it. It's about looking at the parts of yourself you've been taught to hate, your vulnerability, your anger, your neediness, and learning to embrace them. They are not your each shadows because they are bad. They are your shadows because you were forced to hide them in the dark to survive. You have to be willing to sit with the grief. This is the hardest part. You must grieve the childhood you never had. You must grieve the parent you deserved but never got. You must grieve the years you spent in silence, the parts of yourself you lost. This grief is immense, and you cannot bypass it. You have to let yourself feel it. That sadness is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of profound love for the child you were. Sitting with the fear of posting is shadow work. Instead of deleting and distracting yourself, you sit with the anxiety. You feel it in your body. Where is it? In your chest, your stomach. You just breathe into it. You get curious about it. What is this fear really afraid of? And you listen for the answer. Usually the answer is, I'm afraid I'll be abandoned, or I'm afraid I'll be called stupid. This is where you bring in honesty. You have to be honest about the pain you're in. You have to stop performing okay for yourself. You have to admit, this hurts. I am lonely. I am afraid. I am angry. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. Your emotions are not the enemy. They are the messengers, telling you exactly where the wound is. Shadow work is not about fixing yourself. It's about integrating yourself. It's about bringing all the hidden parts of you back home, back into the light of your own consciousness. It's about becoming whole. And from that place of wholeness, the fear of posting begins to loosen its grip. You are no longer trying to hide the bad parts. You are one whole, integrated self, and that self is allowed to exist. Let's look at some concrete examples of how this shows up. You're on a date, and the person asks you about your passions. You freeze. You downplay your interests. You say, "Oh, I don't really do much." Or you pivot the conversation back to them. That is, not posting. You are hiding your authentic self for fear of judgment, for fear that your passion isn't good enough or impressive enough. You are denying them the chance to know you. You get a big promotion at work. Your friends want to celebrate. You feel intensely uncomfortable. You brush it off. It's not a big deal. It was just luck. That is not posting. You are minimizing your own accomplishment because your inner child was taught that your success is a threat or that it's arrogant to be proud. You are robbing yourself of the joy and robbing your friends of the chance to celebrate you. Your partner does something that hurts your feelings. They ask, "What's wrong? You seem quiet." You say, "Nothing, I'm just tired." That is not posting. You are silencing your own pain to avoid conflict, to be the easy partner. You are repeating the pattern of parentification, managing their potential reaction instead of honoring your own feeling. This builds resentment and creates profound loneliness inside the relationship. In all of these examples, you are choosing invisibility. You are choosing the old safety of the mask over the new, vulnerable possibility of connection. You think you are protecting yourself, but you are actually just reinforcing the prison. You are proving to your inner child over and over that they are not safe to come out. The transformation begins when you make a different choice, no matter how small. On the date, you say, "I'm actually really passionate about gardening. I love the feeling of it." At work, you say, "Thank you. I'm really proud of this. I worked hard for it." With your partner, you say, "Actually, when you said that, it hurt my feelings." These are revolutionary acts of posting. They are acts of self-possession. To find our way forward, we have to start asking those foundational questions. Go back, in your mind, to that little child. What did they really need? When they came to your parent with a drawing, a story, or a burst of excitement, what were they looking for? They weren't looking for a critical analysis. They were looking for connection. They needed someone to get down on their level, to look them in the eye and to share their joy. They needed to hear, "Oh, wow, look at those colors. Tell me about this." They needed their emotional experience to be seen, reflected, and celebrated. They needed to know that their inner world mattered to the most important person in their life. What did that child need when they were sad or scared? They needed to be held. They needed to be told, "You are safe. I've got you. It's okay to be sad." They needed co-regulation. They needed a calm, strong presence to help them process their big feelings. They did not need to be told, "You're fine. Stop crying," or "You're overreacting." These are the core emotional needs of a human being: to be seen, to be heard, to be safe, to be celebrated, and to matter, unconditionally. You did not receive these things. And so, the foundational question for your healing is, how can I give these things to myself now? How can I see my own pain? How can I celebrate my own small wins? How can I create safety for my own feelings? This is the reparenting work. When you're afraid to what to post, you are asking, what did my inner child need in this moment? They needed permission. They needed to be told, your voice matters. So, you give that to yourself. You become your own loving parent, and you start to fill in those gaps, one compassionate moment at a time. As you do this, transformation begins. It's quiet at first. It's not a lightning bolt. It's the emergence of new patterns, new thoughts. The first time you state a boundary and the world doesn't end, a new neural pathway is formed. You said, "No, I can't." And the other person said, "Okay, no problem." And your brain, which was braced for attack, thinks, "Wait, that was safe." Authenticity starts to feel better. The heavy mask of the performer becomes more and more exhausting, and the quiet relief of just being you starts to feel more appealing. You might post something small, a picture of a flower you liked, and someone comments, "That's beautiful," and you just receive it. You don't deflect, you don't minimize, you just say, "Thank you." This is a victory. You start to build internal safety. You realize that you are the only audience that truly matters. You start posting for yourself. You write for yourself. You create for yourself. You share, or don't share, based on what you want, not on a fear-based calculation of what the world will think. You are no longer performing for a critical audience. You are expressing for a loving one, you. This is when the fear of posting starts to change. It doesn't vanish, but it no longer has the power to stop you. The fear is there, but your compassion for the fear is bigger. Your commitment to your own authenticity is bigger. You can feel the fear and still hit post because you know that your right to exist is no longer up for debate. The old script in your head, the one that said, "Don't be seen," starts to get replaced by a new one. This new script says, "My voice has value. My story is mine to tell. I am allowed to take up space." This is the sound of your own, true self, finally coming home. There is a beautiful piece of wisdom, often attributed to Marianne Williamson, that says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." This rings so true for survivors of narcissistic abuse. We are not afraid of our flaws. We are terrified of our light. Why? Because in our childhood, our light, our joy, our talent, our vibrancy was a threat to the narcissistic parent. They had to dim your light because it reminded them of their own darkness. They had to make you small so they could feel big. They had to criticize your power because your power threatened their control. So you learned, deep in your bones, that your power was the problem. Your light was dangerous. To be powerful, to be bright, to be posted for all to see, that was the ultimate crime. Healing, then, is the courageous act of reclaiming that light. It's giving yourself permission to be powerful, to be brilliant, to be seen in your full self. When you hesitate to post, you are hesitating at the threshold of your own power. You are afraid of your own light. The fear is not just, what if they criticize me? The deeper fear is, what if I am powerful? What if I am good enough? What if I do have something to say? That is a terrifying proposition, because it means the entire story you were told about yourself was a lie. It means you have to rewrite your entire identity, not as the flawed one, but as the whole one. This is why it's so hard. You are not just fighting a fear of criticism. You are fighting a core. foundational belief that was installed in you for your parents' convenience. The belief that you are too much and not enough, all at the same time. The truth is, you are simply enough, and your light is not dangerous. It's your birthright. This brings us to what healing really is. Healing is not about becoming someone new. It's not about fixing your flaws or erasing your past. It's not about becoming a perfect, fearless person who posts all the time. Healing is about reclaiming the identity that was stolen from you. It's about returning to the person you were always meant to be, before the world told you who you had to be to survive. Healing is not a linear process. It's messy. You will have days where you post and feel great, and days where you delete everything and want to hide. Both are part of the journey. The goal is not perfection. The goal is compassion. The goal is to, more often than not, choose your own side. It's about dismantling the internal critic. It's about learning to hear that voice of the parent and not identify with it. It's about cultivating a new inner voice, the voice of the loving parent that is stronger, kinder, and more persistent. That voice is the one that says, "It's okay, you're safe, you're allowed." Healing is reclaiming your choice. You get to choose if you want to be visible. You get to choose who you share your story with. The power is no longer with the audience, with the external critics. The power is with you. You are no longer a child, hiding to survive. You are an adult, and you get to decide. So when you sit at that blinking cursor, the choice is not post or delete. The real choice is, whose voice will I honor right now? The voice of my old fear, or the voice of my emerging, authentic self? And sometimes, the most authentic choice is silence. But it's a silence chosen from a place of peace, not a silence forced by fear. That is the freedom you are reclaiming. In the end, this is a journey of integration. It's about becoming whole. It's about the adult you, the high-functioning, capable survivor, finally turning around and walking back to that exiled inner child. It's about extending your hand and saying, "I'm sorry I left you in the dark for so long. I didn't know how to protect us both. But I'm here now. You don't have to be afraid anymore. Come with me." Integration is when that child finally feels safe enough to put their hand in yours. It's when your adult self and your child self are reconnected. The child brings the joy, the vulnerability, the creativity, the light. The adult brings the wisdom, the strength, the boundaries, the safety. Together, you are whole. You are unstoppable. This is when posting ceases to be an act of fear and becomes an act of joy. It becomes self-expression. You are no longer posting to get validation. You are posting to express the validation you already gave yourself. You are sharing your light, not because you need anyone to approve of it, but simply because it's yours, and it deserves to shine. You become your own safe audience. You become the one you were always waiting for. The journey from "I can't post" to "I am allowed to be" is the journey back to yourself. It is the most profound and important work you will ever do. And it starts with that one, small, courageous choice to honor your own truth. If you felt seen in this video, if you felt that deep resonance of "that's me," I want to invite you to stay connected. This healing journey is hard, and it is so much easier when we walk it together. Subscribing to this channel is a way to say yes to your own healing, to receive reminders that you are not alone and that your experience is valid. This is a community built on care and understanding, and we would be honored to have you here as we continue to untangle these deep wounds and find our way back to ourselves. Your story is not over. The parts of you that you've hidden are not gone. They are just waiting. They are waiting for you to create enough safety to call them home. The paralysis you feel, that fear of being seen, is not a life sentence. It is a map. It is pointing you directly to the wound that needs your love. Your healing is not about becoming a different person. It's about finally, fully, and bravely becoming the person you already are. You are allowed to be here. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to post your existence.